students, welcome back to my studio again. I hope that you are excited for this year's yearbook cover contest. Oh, I know I am. I'm always impressed by all the art that students show me. And it seems like it just gets better year after year. And that's all because of your hard work and determination and your dedication to this project. So, I have a presentation that I'm going to show you on some do's and don'ts with Yearbook. And I also have a few little coloring techniques that I'm going to show you towards the end. But I'm not going to finish my coloring today because I don't want to overtly influence you. You are fifth graders and you have a lot of skills under your belt. And I know that you're going to use all of those skills to make the best artwork you can to represent our school. All right, let's learn a little more about our yearbook. Students, it is time to design our yearbook cover. Your objectives for this lesson are: understand what a theme is and what our school theme is specifically. We're going to judge and communicate what makes a good composition. We're going to create an original yearbook cover design applying color with accuracy and precision. And then know what a graphic design artist does. In fact, we're going to start off with that first. So what do graphic designers do? Well, they do a lot of things. It just so happens that my senior college student, my child who lives at home with me, is going for her graphic design degree. And what I like to say graphic designers do is that they take the ordinary and then they turn it into something extraordinary, or even more extraordinary, or something fantastical and whimsical. I'm not sure I'd want to sit in that chair, but it sure is interesting to look at. So they develop graphics for products, illustrations, logos, and websites. They often use computer programs like Adobe Photoshop to communicate their ideas that inspire, inform, and captivate consumers. They develop overall layout and production design for various applications, such as advertisements, brochures, magazines, and corporate efforts. So brochures might be a way of advertising a location for a vacation that you may have. They could be for advertising and recruiting for employees. Hey, come work for our company. Look what you have here that are some free perks. Like you might get free lunch from us, or there's an exercise room and we'll give you 30 minutes a day free to work there on our time. You get paid for it. Wow. Some do. All right, so let's talk about some things we need to think about while we are designing. First thing, what are themes? So in arts, a theme is a broad idea or message conveyed by a work, such as a performance, a painting, a motion picture, or a video game. Usually it's something that's repeated over and over throughout the work. So what's our school theme? So our school theme is, of course, we are the Seahawks. S stands for self-motivated, O stands for optimistic, A is for accountable, and R is for respectful. We are soaring into success with our school theme. All right, so let's talk about how themes can be related to schools. So this one has a slogan, they're raising our sales higher, and you can see how that is shown in the picture as well as with the words. So, a unified design is great for the front and back of our yearbook, but we're not going to worry so much about that. We're just going to design like we're going to win the front cover, because we're going to have our 4 runner-ups on the back of our yearbook. So this area here is the layout for the back, because when you folded it, you could see that this would be on the front, just like a book. Lettering is important, but don't worry about that. I have a pre-made template with all the words they're going to need and the numbers. All you need to worry about is your artwork. A well-colored design is important. In fact, it's not just important, it is critical. I have seen some of the most wonderful drawings in the world not win our yearbook cover contest because they were poorly colored in. And then I've seen some pictures that weren't very well drawn, but because the color was just spot on, they actually won the cover. So coloring's super important. You can incorporate patterns into your design if you want to. Now, let's talk just for a moment about what works and doesn't work in the following examples. Believe it or not, this is a fantastic idea. Unfortunately, it is difficult to understand what's going on in this picture. So I want you to look at this picture and see if you can see what I see. Spend just a moment doing that. This school, their initials are an acronym that spells V-Help. And the words underneath that says, how do you measure a decade? So that got me thinking that this school's been around for 10 years. So let's look down here at the bottom of the picture where this child is. They're quite small, and normally in perspective artworks, the closer to the bottom it is, usually the bigger the thing appears. It's just closer to the person, the viewer. And so having this small one there, wow, it really makes me wonder why it's small instead of larger. And then look on this road here that's going up into the sunset. The people are getting bigger and bigger, which is the opposite of what you would normally see in a perspective artwork. So why are they getting bigger? Well, they're growing up. Look here at this little red schoolhouse. See how small it is? And then look, they have a chalkboard here. Who uses chalkboards anymore? And then further down the road, the year goes up too. And then the school's getting bigger. And they now have dry erase boards. And now going into the furthest, probably high school experience, because the bottom would be elementary, middle, and then high school. So maybe they're a K through 12 school. Look how big the school is now. And look at this smart board. And this child is ready to walk into the sunset because they have all the tools they need to be a successful person in life. I actually love this idea. I think it's amazing. The problem happens is if things become too symbolic, it's a little hard for people to figure out what's going on in the picture. So we want to be able to kind of hit them over the head and be very obvious with what our school themes are and what our images should be, but still be creative. Now, this one has a lot of beautiful colors and it's well done, but it's not super creative. I need to see a little bit more to get that winning spot on our yearbook. I love emojis, but you do have to watch out. Sometimes things are copyright protected. So copyright laws protect other people's creative properties. That includes images or even words. So you could not put Harry Potter and his owl Hedwig flying through the air on our front cover. That's owned by J.K. Rowling, and she gets paid money anytime somebody makes something that can be sold, and these yearbooks can be sold to other kids. You can't put SpongeBob, you can't put a Minion, you can't put a Creeper. So all those things from TV, video games, movies, books that you've seen or read, those will immediately get you disqualified for the yearbook contest. Here's one. Wow, look at that picture in the middle. So do you think this could be maybe like the outside view of their school? Yeah, wow, it's really well drawn. I love all the details. And look at these people here. This guy's got a tie on. Look at this one here. This one's got a police officer. Who are these people, do you think? These people are probably people who are adults at their school. It could be principal, it could be teachers, and resource officers like Officer Davis is here at our school. And that's pretty cool. What do you think? Do you think these could all be maybe like 5th grade teachers? Wow, maybe it's just those because there aren't that many teachers on this book. Do you think that 3rd graders would like to see maybe their teacher on the cover instead of just a 5th grade teacher? Yeah, I think so. So this kind of gets to the point where I can explain to you, when you design this cover, you're designing it for the whole school. So it's not just for you. So you might love drawing pictures of Pegasus with a fairy on its back flying through clouds in the sky with butterfly wings and sparkles going out behind you. But I guarantee you there's probably a boy out there who probably would not like that. So you want to make sure that if you do put people on your cover, it's just something that will be identifiable or be something that can represent all people. So you don't want to be very specific with your artwork and do things only you like. You really are designing for the whole school. Wow, that's a lot of words on here. I love these words. They're really cool. But I don't want you to add words to your pictures. It's very difficult to get that kind of professional look without using some sort of software. What do you think the name of their school is? It's the Bostonian. And then, this is the year it was made. Oh, look, they must be the Boston Bears. Look at the bear here. And look how they've incorporated other things like PE, art, and music into this as well. Is that something that most kids at our school get to participate with? Yeah, they sure do. So absolutely, I think this is a great thing. If it were me, I would have added maybe like a math equation, 2 times 5 equals 10, maybe put a science beaker with bubbles coming out of it, maybe a book for reading. I would have added a few more things if it were my picture. Do you think I like this one? I like the ideas with it, but I think it's not creative enough. I need more pictures and more just kid-drawn art that makes our cover unique and special. The Montclair Mustangs. Oh, wow, it almost looks like they cut out strips of paper and glued them down for the flag. You can do things like that, absolutely. Again, as long as it's your own creation, that is fine. All right, I really like this cover. I think it's amazing, actually. So when I'm looking at it, it's hard to read the name of the school, but we won't have to worry about that because that's already done for us. But I do like how they were thinking about the background, making it look like notebook paper. I like how they put their mascot on there. And I like how colorful it is. I would just say I wish it was maybe a little more colorful. They really like a fully colored in picture when the yearbook committee selects the winning design for our yearbook. All right, we've already talked about copyright things. Things like this you could not put in your picture. Some things to consider. You might want to discuss your ideas with your parents or a grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, or just think to yourself about some things you can do. It might include a hawk, or you may come up with a different solution. If time allows for today, you can start drawing it out. But if you want to just think on it today and start working on it tomorrow, that's okay too. You do need to use the template, though, that will be either sent to you in Teams or will be attached to this video. And then lastly, you can use photographs for inspiration, but don't trace or photocopy them and cut them out and paste them on. It needs to be your own drawing. Here is one of our old yearbook winners here. I want to just point out a couple of things to think about when you're designing it, besides the things I went over with the video previously, is that, we have a lot of military people at our school. So our school is especially patriotic, maybe the most patriotic school ever, I think. So if you want to incorporate some of those elements into your picture, I think that would be fabulous. So we can see that this particular artwork has an American flag behind them. This artwork, we had a sports theme that year. So you can see they've put the hawk in a football helmet, and it's like they're wearing the Olympic gold medal around their necks. So I really love how that child incorporated that idea into it. And then, we've been superheroes for a while, but this year we're into Just Soar, S-O-A-R. But this one was one that was a superhero idea, you know, like those superhero comic books, and they put words like bam and other like wham and stuff. And so they put a hawk head in the middle of that, and that was completely fabulous too. So for our theme, we are definitely having a lot of these wonderful SOAR traits this year. So SOAR is an acronym that stands for S is for self-motivated, O is for optimistic, A stands for being accountable, and R is for being respectful. If you want to incorporate those things into your picture, that would also be a great thing to do, I think. But even if you just did a hawk picture, I think that would be also fine. And I know sometimes it's hard trying to make pictures of things, especially things from your imagination. If you're good at that, you go right for it. But if you feel like a photo might help you, as long as it doesn't look exactly like the photo, because there's probably some sort of a copyright protection on that. So you want to try to make it your own in some way, change it up a little bit. I'm going to show you how to draw using a photo so it's your own creation on this project. Before we get started, I just want to point out this to you. So this area, we have some school colors. I don't know if you're aware of them or not, but our school colors are kind of this beautiful, kind of a aqua blue kind of a color. It's a great cerulean kind of a blue. It's reminds me of the sky or beautiful seas. It's almost like a turquoise. If you don't know those other words, that may help kind of clue you into that. And then gray and white. So if you want to incorporate those in anywhere in the picture is fine. Our school logo, which is this great little hawk here, it looks like he's part of a wave, and because we're so close to the ocean, I guess. This part would typically be that beautiful kind of a turquoisey blue. I know when I'm looking at colored pencils, for example, this colored pencil is probably the closest you can get to it. And it says that it's sky blue. So if you wanted to go in there and just color over that light gray area with the sky blue, you are welcome to do so. If you have a thin Sharpie or even a really nice sharp pencil, you could definitely go in there and also outline these areas. Or if you have a black colored pencil, you could go in and you could outline these areas that are going to remain white. So these would be typically the white areas here. I'm just going in and just making them a little better. And hey, you know, when you draw, try to not draw real heavy and dark at first, because it makes it a lot easier to go in there and erase when you need to erase. And you know, half of art is really going in there and revising what you've done, being able to look at it and say, yeah, that's done, or no, that area needs a little more work. And that is fine. As you practice, this ability becomes more important. And it seems like when I was in college, drawing portraits or drawing figures, I think I did a lot more erasing than I did drawing. But this is our next step, is probably coloring in all this great stuff here. If you want to follow our school colors, I'm going to make this all blue. And I don't know if you noticed, but I am trying to color in the same direction. I'm doing short overlapping strokes here, and that is going to be great advice for coloring too. There are some other effects that I'm going to show you as far as coloring, especially with varying the pressure as you color, that can become really interesting parts to your picture. You really don't want to leave any of the area uncolored, unless it's something like the border here that's shaded in gray already. I did that on purpose because I know it's close to the edge of the paper, and it's really hard for kids to get in there and color that outside part without ripping the edges of the paper. So you don't have to worry about the little white edge that's going around. I wouldn't worry about that. I would just leave that be. And then we have that little bit of gray area, so we don't have to worry about coloring in that close to the edge. But yeah, I'm trying to just make sure I get all those areas nice and evenly colored. And don't be shy if you need to sharpen your pencil to get in those little tiny areas. You can certainly do that. But there is my wonderful Seahawk, because that's of course, our mascot. I think that's colored in pretty good. So now we're ready to do the drawing part here. And when I start to draw, I go ahead and I think about basic shapes. If it helps you to kind of use a finger to kind of like, oh, I need a basic, like maybe a circle there. And then I'm gonna go on my paper and find, where would that be? How big should I make it? Do I wanna get all this wing in here? If I wanna get all the wing, then I probably need to make the head pretty small in here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I wanna make sure I leave enough room. So it looks like the wing here and the wing here are almost the same, maybe a little further here. So I wanna make sure I leave, yeah, maybe like right here. That might be where I put it. So I'm gonna start off like this. And then I just start off very lightly. And then I'm gonna start to think about lines and things. Like I know there's gonna be a wing part that comes up here. And maybe a little bit will go behind this Holley-Navarre intermediate word, which is okay if it goes behind it. It just means that the word is overlapping it. And I'm gonna make sure that I don't color hard or dark colors over here, because I wanna make sure that I see that really good. Unless it's a light color, then I could probably press hard. And I'm gonna go around. And then I'm gonna have this kind of come out. Now, as I work this, I go, wow, you know, I got a lot of empty space over here. I think I need to actually go and erase this and move it over. And because I did it lightly, super easy to erase. So now I've decided I'm gonna move it maybe over here. So I'm gonna move that here. And I'm gonna kind of think, oh, I think that's better. Yeah, I think so. I think that's gonna be better. Let's move this back just a little bit. Yeah, I think that's better. And then that's gonna come down. There's gonna be a beak in here. So I'm just kind of really approximating where those lines are gonna be in our pictures. And I'm gonna come down. And it's gonna go around. Then we'll have those feet. Oh, maybe I could make the feet grabbing this down here. That would be exciting. So I'm gonna change up the shape of the feet and make it look like they're grabbing that. And then that can come down. That can come down and around. So maybe something that looks more like that. And then, okay, so I kind of have the basics kind of drawn out here. And I can definitely change it as I'm working, because sometimes when you get more details, you'll realize, oh yeah, I didn't leave enough room for that. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to start to make some of these lines more permanent. I'm gonna make the eye a little bigger, maybe, you know, a little more cartoony. That's okay. I don't like this feather here, so I'm gonna take that out. So now I'm gonna do these long fingers. And I don't have to do all of them. You know, I might decide which ones I want to do. Okay, that's good. Maybe I'm going to move this wing back just a little bit. Get a little more of that neck in there. And I'm going to change up the foot position. I want to have that other one maybe coming around. So maybe they're both going forward here. Maybe he's going to land on this ball. Got those talons in there. And I got kind of this empty space here, so I'm going to kind of think about what I could kind of put in its place. I'm going to think about that while I do some more drawing. Going back and making some of the lines darker now, because those are the lines I plan on keeping. I can add a few little feathers in here. I don't have to do a whole bunch. Just a few, just to indicate that, yeah, there are some other feathers in here. And any little lines that helped us draw, we can go ahead and erase those because we won't need those anymore too. I don't have to make every section exactly the same. And then I've thought about what I'm going to do in here. I'm going to put a cloud. And I might even put the start of a sun. And then I'm going to write the word soar because that's so important to our school. Try to make those letters really nice. If you plan on doing any letters, though, that's super important. I'm going to do some block letters here. So I start off with the letter, and then I just make an outline around it. And I intend to go in there and erase any of those inside lines that I don't need anymore. I could even make this bubble letters. That might even look better in the cloud. So you know how to do block letters here. So how would we do bubble letters? I keep the letters a little closer together. Oops. If you can. And then you make them just super round around them. I try to make them touch too when I can. Again, lightly erase any of those guidelines that you may have had that helped you fit those words in there. And look, it's like it's part of the cloud now. All right, so I'm going to talk to you for a moment about coloring now. Okay, so for coloring, you know, you could, if you had a very skinny Sharpie, you could go through your picture and even add a little outline to it. Or if you had a skinny regular Crayola marker. Or again, you can just press really hard with your pencil. That'll give it a nice outline too. That's almost just as dark You could also outline this with a marker and then color in with a colored pencil or a crayon. So I think she did a little of that where she kind of outlined, and then all this is actually colored pencil in here. She did marker outline, like if it was a brown wing, she outlined the marker in brown, and then the lines were in brown and marker, and then she just colored in, it looks like with a crayon or a colored pencil. And then this student went and did all marker, so everything was done in marker. There's no colored pencil or crayon. It's really going to be your preference of how you do it. For the cloud, for example, I'm going to actually vary, because usually when you look at big cumulus clouds like this up in the sky, it'll be darker at the bottom because that's where all the rain is gathering, the moisture. So maybe I'll have this be a little darker, and then it's going to be lighter up above. So I'm just varying the pressure here. And this works great for crayons and for colored pencils. There does come a point, though, where you can't blend two colors together, and I'll talk to you about that in just a moment. When you want to do a mixture of two colors. So let's say in the word soar, I want to start off with maybe a red at the bottom. So I'm going to press nice and hard. And then I'm going to go lighter in the middle here. And it's going to be nice and hard and saturated at the bottom. So when you press super hard, you really can't go back in there with another color. But if you leave some of the white paper showing, then you can do some blended effects. So let's say I've got that. Then I'm going to take an orange. I'm going to have it overlap it. Again, I want to fill up that area, so I'm going to press harder, and then I'm going to do lighter at the very top. Harder where they're overlapping, and then lighter, because I'm going to put another color there. Harder, and then lighter. I found this really dark red too. I might put that at the bottom just to get it a little bit in there. I'm pressing super hard, but it's hard to get it in. I don't really want it to be really strong though. And then at the very top, I'm gonna put the yellow in. And it's gonna blend with that orange because I left some white space at the top of that orange to get that in there. Okay, so I think you can see how you can get some nice little effects doing that. So it's really going to be up to you how to color them, but the winners have always been well colored in. I just tried to show you some different effects here. I'll do one more, like maybe the wing here. So maybe the wing is going to be darker at the end. I'm going to try to leave a little white vein in it. And then I'm going to have the black kind of blend over that. I didn't press super hard, so it's able to go in there and be a little darker. So I might go through and do all the wing like this, or you might just color it in marker. That's really going to be up to you with how you want to color it. The word Seahawks, I think that's okay the way it is. It too has changed in value or intensity of color, where it's gone from lighter to darker. This one just changed in color instead of just going light to dark. It actually has a color fluctuation there. The word Seahawks, I think that's okay the way it is. It too has changed in value or intensity of color, where it's gone from lighter to darker. This one just changed in color instead of just going light to dark. It actually has a color fluctuation there. Okay, so I want you to be creative when you're making these wonderful artworks, and I can't wait to see some of your submissions. In the description, it will have a due date for when they're due in order to be qualified for the contest. And if you are selected as one of the lucky 5 kids who will be featured on our yearbook cover, in the past we have done a free complimentary yearbook for you. because it's our way of saying, hey, thanks for working so hard and making great art to decorate our book with. All right. I hope you have fun with this.
Oh, so I can't wait to see your work. Oh, make sure you get it to me by the deadline. And remember, only 5th graders can do this assignment. So I can't wait. And as usual, always remember to put on your best smile. That positive attitude will get you so far in life. And always try your best. And above all, keep making great art.